Hello, chat. It's been a hot second. So yeah, let's get this going, I guess. Um, don't really know what to play, so I'm just gonna play some random games on Roblox, I guess. Let me just change the stream on Kick here. Oh, that's what. Okay, there we go. Finally. Jesus Christ. All right. Yep, that is why. Oh, whoops. Hit the wrong F12. Or F11 even. Okay, so. What are we thinking about playing, chat? I don't know. I'll just go with some, hide and seek extreme once I get this avatar going here. And that should be good. Actually, wait, no, I gotta change it to R6 as well. That's why, yeah. That's right, lad. Okay, it's already on R6. Good. Man, who the fuck just sent me a notification on Roblox? Hell no. Okay. Let's just play hide and seek. For now. Until I find something better to do, really. I do not care, bro. Didn't realize there was another chat update. Hey, what's up, Dilly? How we doing? All love. That's what's up, brother. That's what's up. You know, we just existing. Oh, wait. I forgot to change the... Oh, wait. No, I didn't. Okay, good, good. I thought I forgot to change the stream over to fucking the main scene, but we're good, we're good. Let me just... That should do for volume. Actually, turn the volume down a little more. It's probably better. Alrighty. And now, we just play the game. I didn't see what map it was, so it's gonna be a surprise for me. Either way, I can probably clip out or just glitch. So, you know. This is mostly gonna be just like a, not a just chatting stream, but like more of a chill stream, I guess. So, you know, it is what it is, really. I'm just existing, we're just existing, we all gotta be ourselves, you know what I'm saying? There we go. And now we just spectate it. Oh, hey. Are people actually... Yo! Oh, shit, no way. People actually in the age group that I'm in. That's crazy. Alright, hands are off the keyboard. Now we just wait. Yo, is this it like 3 years old or something? That'd be hilarious. Like, how does Broski not get seed? How is Broski not seen yet? Dog, are they teaming? Oh, tell me they're teaming. That'd be hilarious. For them just to be like, oh, there's one person left. Who could it be? Where could he be? Right here, bro. Like, right here, broski. I'm inside of the map. Barely. I gotta start recording some of this stuff, actually, to, like, make clips and stuff. Hold up. Let me see how much, fucking, what do I call it? Oh, I can't change it because I'm streaming. That's why. Okay, great. Great. OBS, give me this, give me that. Oh, whoopsies. Whoop. There we go. But yeah, how we doing, chat? How's it going? Because right now, I'm doing pretty good. I'm just kind of existing, playing Roblox and stuff. Also, if anybody wants to buy this shirt on Roblox, too bad it's mine. You're not gonna buy it. Nah, but if y'all really want to, go ahead. I'm gonna kill the chat here. Don't feel a need for it, really. Because most of it's gonna be beep. I hate that, honestly. Also, no music because I'm also double streaming on YouTube for the people on Kick. You know how it be. YouTube doesn't like copyright stuff, so, you know. Man, literally nobody. Literally nobody is. I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck. Oh well. Oh well. It is what it is. It is what it is. But hey guys, after a few rounds of this, I'm gonna probably go and get some food. I'll stay on stream, don't worry, but like, fuck, I'm hungry. I haven't gotten food today. I should probably eat. Actually, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do after this round. Alrighty. I will be right back, chat. I need to get food. So yeah, put some music on if y'all want. I'm not gonna be talking for like maybe 15 minutes. So, be right back. Alright, I'm back, chat. Yeah. Let's get back to some, I don't know, let's play Destruction Simulator. I feel like that could be cool. I feel like that could be a good game to play. Just for chills. Know what I'm saying, chat? Okay. I forgot I had, what was it, yeah, I have the Infinity Backpack. And, like, too much stuff. Which one's the better one? Hold on. Low 55 required. Low 50, okay, cool. Oh, it go boom. It go boom. Yes, it go boom. Anyway, I'm gonna destroy this one instead. I do not want notifications, bro. And like I have all the levels, bro. I don't need double XP. Owie, that hurted. That's not very nice, Mr. Volcano. Oh, so little holding it together. So little holding this fucking volcano together. Kaboom. Volcano has fallen. I just gotta get up to the top of it real quick. Ah, there we go. Kaboom. Alright, boom. Alright, peak. This game's fun. I used to play this far too often after like school and stuff. I just got like 1,000,000 more bricks or something, didn't I? Pretty sure I have like 1,000,000 more bricks than I had, bro. That's crazy. Hey, I'm top leaderboard now. That's what's up. Now this is where the real shit happens. Oh, how did that not do the whole thing? There we go. I'm destroying the Doom Spires, bro. You cannot imagine how much these things probably would have cost if it was real life dollars. Like an unfathomable amount of money, probably. to build a life-size version of Doomspires. Oh my god, that'd be crazy, chat. That would be insane and a half. Alright, now let me pull a terrorism. Woo! Hell yeah. I have so many fucking bricks, dude. I got like another 1,000,000 from that. Bro, what is this? There we go, and now it's mostly gone. Lovely. After this, I'm probably gonna play some Phantom Forces. That might be fun. Maybe. Because I don't think people want to see me play fucking Destruction Simulator. Do you, chat? Do you guys want to watch me play this? Yeah, alright. Yo, come on. I don't want to play Scientology Speedrun Simulator. Even though that sounds absolutely hilarious, I don't want to play that. Actually, Parkour might be a good game. Get some good gameplay in Parkour. Maybe clip it. Come on, join. Gimme. Thank you. Alright. Holy shit. Please load it. Uh-oh. Stream not being yummy. Oh, there's more shit to get, I guess. There's a shop and everything, goddamn. Okay, so what is my rank actually? Hero, okay. Don't think I need anything other than this, really. This is all that I need. I just gotta remember the fucking controls. And also probably just reset. There we go. Ah! My frames! My frame rate! No! Holy frame drop. Jesus Christ. Okay, I don't think I can play this. Let alone should. Yes, leave. Go. Go, damn it. Go! Oh, YouTube's got a fucking issue with, something. Oh, okay. Itty what itty, I don't give a fuck, really. Oh yeah, Phantom Forces right there. But am I gonna play Phantom Forces? Am I really gonna play Phantom Forces? I'm not gonna play Phantom Forces. Never actually played Rivals. Kind of considering it, though, honestly, chat. Oh, I think that's my food. Yep. Alright, chat, I will be right back. My food is ready. Wababunga. Hey chat, so before I get eating and shit, I'm just gonna open up YouTube and we can all watch some. I'm gonna just watch Hugbees though, honestly, cause you know, Hugbees is where it's at, man. Definitely. Let's see, Hugbees. Jesus Christ, my computer. My computer hates streaming and watching videos at the same time. And honestly, for good reason. No, go away, damn it. Let me watch Hugbees. Let's watch KFC's ridiculous comic books. Let's see it, chat. Let's see it. I'm just gonna go back to the start of it and F11. Oh, you can see the computer dying, bro. You can see my computer and my internet dying of death as we speak.
The internet's information treasure trove for good video ideas provides me with subject matters that have the most in common with snacking on sticky sweets and snacking on your mother. They're finger-licking good. Note the originator of that tagline, fast food restaurant Kentucky Fried Chicken, wasn't mentioned in my opening analogy because as someone who's never once sampled the Colonel's Bounty without having a bout of explosive diarrhea afterwards, the only thing I equate to finger-licking in my occasional succumbing to my growing up poor fast food addictions that still plague me well after I've achieved stable income is me imagining my toilet bowl porcelain is made from human finger bones, and the flushing action is my commode trying to roleplay as a human. Relatably, Kentucky Fried Chicken is a franchise that's been stuffed full of shit for its over 70-year run and counting on this earth as the shockingly second biggest restaurant franchise after McDonald's. The operating procedure of fuck with the customer starts with the name alone, since they changed it from Kentucky Fried Chicken to just KFC back in 1991 and only recently undid that decision. They changed their name to just the initialism KFC for two publicly cited reasons: making the brand easier to say to align to its already commonly used abbreviation, and to convince the public that somehow some people out there exist that went to that restaurant for anything other than slop-battered chicken cooked in the healthiest of fryer oils. Remember the old idiom, you can put lipstick on a pig, but I still wouldn't have sex with it. But then why did I sexually reference your mother in the intro? KFC has struggled to compete in the post-ironic fast food marketing wave that Wendy's pioneered. They've had all sorts of material come from this desperate appeal to youth culture, from a dating sim to a romance novel to a made-for-TV movie to a slew of self-aware commercials that fall flat comedically despite having actual comedic talent attached. The entire Kentucky Fried branding universe, ironically one born too late to contain the Kentucky Fried Movie, is a great topic for its own video, and maybe one I cover one day because the American food industry will forever be something that I will browbeat into comedic submission so long as America's obesity percentage is a double-digit number. And don't worry, if we succeed in curbing it to single digits like many other late-stage capitalist countries stayed at to begin with, I'll have plenty of cutting riffs to make fun of your new Ozempic addiction, since that's the only way we'll ever get there. But these pieces of comically misguided marketing ploys will have to be saved for another time, because this video is going to pander to my specific audience that's here for me because of a different kind of comic books. 3 of them to be exact. Today I'm going to review the 3 Kentucky Fried Chicken DC crossover one-shots, because my audience loves when I tell them about interesting crap they have no reason to learn about other than to satisfy their own curiosity. Okay. I think I finally lost them. Okay, so maybe I should explain a bit of what I'm doing. When I'm not busy being a world-famous YouTuber, sleeping with 8 supermodels a day, or constructing 8 separate ransom notes to trick supermodel husbands into thinking that their supermodel wives were secretly kidnapped instead of off on torrid love affairs, I race getaway cars. It turns out you don't have to commit a crime to drive a getaway car. There's all sorts of things you can run from in your day-to-day life. For you, it's probably the responsibility of household chores or the pressure of that passion project you keep saying you're going to get to but never actually do. For me, it's vindictive cartel drug runners. We are not the same. But something we both need to run away from is internet hackers and data thieves, which is why is demanding you fork over more and more of your deal. VPN when it comes to driving very far away from your concerned doctor who claims I desperately need you to take your medication and to stop these delusions of a fast-paced criminal lifestyle. If you're obsessively... Let's hope my camera's in focus. Hey, it is. If you're obsessively on the more obscure corners of the internet like I am, you might be vividly screaming at your phone right now, Hug Beast! Oh God, Hug Beast! guys, there's actually 4 KFC comics, not 3 like you just said. Oh my god, he can't hear me because this is a pre-recorded video, and I'm talking into my hand, not an actual phone. First off, this video is not pre-recorded. I'm actually doing all of this live. Isn't that right, Jeremy? Second of all, yes, according to the well-renowned chicken fandom wiki, there are 4 total KFC comics, each of which was given away for free at the New York and San Diego Comic-Cons, which seems like wasted advertising, because trying to convince convention goers to eat greasy fried chicken is like plotting to convince VTuber fans to be creepy, obsessive, and have an embarrassingly low bar for entertainment quality. Disappointingly, the first comic isn't even really anything worth talking about. It's a super short, creepily illustrated retelling of Colonel Sanders' life story from his old billboard-looking mouth. Do I even need to recap who Colonel Harlan David Sanders is? You know, the literal face of KFC, original founder and now long-dead mascot? I feel like as I grow more popular, maybe my videos are going to start being broadcast to remote villages in the Philippines, so I may as well cover my bases. And knowing who this man is integral to understanding the baffling nature of these comic books. What we're focusing on today are the other 3 issues, because they're something. Something good, something bad? Oh, you'll find out very soon. And at the very least, they were popular. Popular enough to get a full release in 2017 with a goddamn official DC trailer up on their YouTube channel right now. Let's just cut to the first one so I can start initiating world peace via laughter already. Dios comahalco an trabajoco. 2 colonels? How can this be? Find out in a stunning adventure like no other. Putting aside the fact that this adventure will in fact be like plenty of others I've seen thanks to evil twins being a ridiculously common trope, I don't think this one is even that much of a stretch. It's not illegal to dress like a traditional Southern colonel, since last I checked every Confederate bylaw, and I'd wager it's not an unheard of feat to find an old-timey gentleman with a passing resemblance to Harlan Sanders and dress him in a mirrored inverted color getup of the original. I'd potentially shit my pants as a reader if you duplicated an actual superhero, like seeing Reverse Flash and realizing he's just the Flash if he was a dickhead on purpose and professionally, super speed shenanigans included, but the qualification to copy a chicken connoisseur who isn't even a real colonel is a much lower standard, especially since one of the people involved seems to be Condom Man, based on his shiny plastic looking chrome dome being so nondescript that I literally have no idea who this is. On the interior cover we get a better look at Colonel Sanders with his best ass-kicking face and the Nega Colonel, I guess, who from now on I'm going to be referring to as the Anti-Colonel because I wanted to get my One Fairly Odd Parents reference in before I accidentally mispronounce a certain word during recording, and me missing it in editing means I have to issue an online apology. My favorite detail is because Colonel Sanders has to be old for branding reasons, they couldn't reverse his white hair to make it full black, so instead they just colored him to be aging but in a sexy silver fox kind of fashion. I'm also not kidding. I like this choice. I have a feeling that this is going to fall under the category of self-aware stupid, instead of trying too hard stupid, like those Subway DC crossover comics I reviewed a few years ago. Well, like most of those DC Subway comic crossovers. It's Christmas time, and as expected, the children are screaming because some psychopath gave Frosty the Snowman teeth. And also because Captain Cold is hiding out within the funhouse concealed behind the winter mascot's last dental visit. Cold is complaining he's unable to beat the Flash to fellow supervillain Mirror Master, the green-headed guy from the cover who I still just want to call Condom Man for honestly no reason in particular. It's just a feeling I get about him. And the elongation of his helmet head in the funhouse mirror is really not helping his case. Anyway, since he's a lesser-known villain, the quick rundown on Mirror Master is he's a guy who stumbled into a house of mirrors one day and said, "Damn, look at my reflection in there, he's having so much fun, I want to go." And then he discovered he can enter mirrors. Yep, that's pretty much it. These mirror portals give him access to the mirror world, which is a warped reflection of our own reality, and Mirror Master pulls Captain Cold into the mirror world because he wants to show him someone who he thinks is capable of defeating their arch nemesis via a literal gravy train. Wait, are these two guys trying to kill the Flash or Colonel Sanders? Mirror Master explains that there's another dimension called Earth 3, which features pissed off versions of all the DC characters we know and love, including Homelander, not Wonder Woman, who goes by Superwoman, who definitely wants to fuck me, Hal Jordan if he was really good at Dance Dance Revolution, and genuinely one of the best written DC characters of all time, Owlman. mysterious visitor has decided to come to our dimension from Earth 3 to fuck things up. And that mysterious visitor just so happens to be...
Well, howdy, son. Y'all getting tired of feeling like the world's done plucked you over? Well, my name's Colonel Sunder, and have I got a hot deal for you.
Colonel Sanders wearing all black and meeting me in an obviously dilapidated KFC making puns on the fuck word while offering me literal deals with the devil type scenarios would normally tip me off that maybe I've crossed into the world of the evil mirror dimension, but then I remember that this is just what every KFC looks like and I'm probably still at home. This guy's name is Colonel Sunder, and while I will call him that through this video, I'm mostly still going to refer to him as the anti-colonel because it's easier to understand and I like it more. Shut up. It's a month later, and this comic is proving to have absolutely been worth my time, because it's somehow intentionally and unintentionally hilarious at the exact same time. Anti-Colonel has established his own fast food chicken restaurant called Easy Fried Chicken, and is serving factory-made food to depressed customers. In other words, he's opened a regular KFC. While Captain Cold and Condom Master have been demoted to working as fry cooks to aid the anti-colonel in a plan they don't even remotely comprehend. This is obviously intentionally funny because seeing these two become Squidwards as part of their own evil plan is giggle-worthy enough on its own, but perhaps even funnier is my joke earlier about this anti-KFC just being a regular KFC, because it isn't even a joke. Because you know who hated KFC more than anyone else? Colonel fucking Sanders. Now, veterans of my literally flawless channel will already know this segment, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it in this video. Back in the past, I did a video roasting all the major fast food chains. I'll go ahead and link it in the description if you want to check out and watch the full thing. But for KFC, the key point that I made was, I don't need to roast KFC. The founder of the entire fucking idea of Kentucky Fried Chicken already did it for me. I included in that video real-world quotes from Harlan Sanders himself talking about the state of his restaurants only a few years before his death. I'm going to include some of these quotes here now as a nice refresher, and to enlighten the comic book side of my audience to my expertise in all areas of bird law. That's the worst fried chicken I've ever seen. When referring to the mashed potatoes, he said, and then you have wallpaper paste. Next, I suppose you add some of this brown gravy stuff, and then you have sludge. There's no way anyone can get me to swallow those potatoes. You're just working for a company that doesn't know what it's doing. Too bad, because it gives you a bad reputation. Now, to make this video slightly different than my older video to incentivize you to go watch or rewatch it, because the fact that you think that any other channel on this platform can compete with me in any way is a direct fucking insult, I will mention a fun fact I didn't talk about in my fast food roasts video. KFC's official response to the Colonel's outrage was to call him a purist who would never be satisfied with anything they did, especially since they had expanded to a national chain level. And honestly, they may have been right. According to the original newspaper report that documented the Colonel's disgust of KFC, he went to a birthday dinner later that day and proceeded to bitch and complain the entire time, except for the cornbread. He liked that, saying, quote, "That's the best cornbread I've ever had made by a Yankee up north." He also refused to drink the wine because wine tastes like gasoline. I have 14 more years to go to finish this century, and I want to take care of myself. The Colonel never did make it to 100, and in fact died only 4 years later, which makes me think, was he drinking gasoline? How else would he know how it tasted and only lived to be a pathetically young 90 years old? Although the answer to that may lie in the fact that he was on a no-aging diet that required him to eat a full can of sardines every day, and if you've ever met the kind of people who can stomach eating those gross fish rejects, then you could probably explain everything that's going on here. The point I'm making with this, I'll admit, extremely interesting tangent, is Anti-Colonel's existence here is already a bit of an oxymoron. Sure, he revels in literal slob production, unlike the picky eater tendies only real-life Colonel Sanders, but his restaurant seems properly up to code standards for a run-of-the-mill KFC, which means that if he's the bad guy, then KFC themselves are also the bad guy, as literally said by the real Colonel. This comic book is either saying our founder and mascot is a fucking idiot, or our food sucks ass. It's lose-lose, which has made me so much more excited to read the rest of these comics comics that I can hardly contain myself. To further his mere-world mediocre chicken operation to fight against the real-world mediocre chicken operation, the Anti-Colonel hires a slew of henchmen off of Henchlist and enacts the first of his diabolical schemes, making a TV commercial jingle. Now, originally I was potentially going to figure out a way to do some sort of song cover of this as a joke to bring it to life, but it would have been way too much effort and taken far too long. So instead, I'm going to do the second funniest thing that I thought of, and more importantly, a much cheaper and faster idea that I came up with. Hire a Morgan Freeman impersonator to read these lines like they're a classical poem.
I'm Colonel Sunder, and I sell cheap chicken. Maybe it don't taste good, but it's easy pickings. It fills your belly, and that's all that matters. Forget Kentucky. Easy makes you gladder.
The bullshittery on display goes too far for the real Colonel Sanders, who smashes his TV in disgust while screaming a handful of words that I assume are Southern racial slurs for some demographic that I'm not curious enough to try to figure out who.
Yeah! That jackleg is carpetbagging my whole public image. Maybe this is that identity theft nonsense I keep hearing about. Well, I'm not letting some easy fried phony make a mockery of everything Harlan Sanders stands for.
Colonel Sanders stares at his framed plaque dedicated to how he likes his anal sex, and then he leaves what appears to be the KFC flagship restaurant to walk his ass all the way down to Anti-Colonel's shop. I like how the bushes are boxed up similar to KFC meal boxes, as if someone at the flagship thought maybe it'd be a good idea in the future to paint them like giant mashed potatoes in a bit of incredibly rogue advertising. But that idea is dumb and would have to come from a marketing department so deluded that they think turning a 90-year-old man who had been dead for 35 years at publication into an action hero was a really effective way to sell drive-through crispy poultry. Oh fuck, the Central City Bank is being robbed! But then the Flash, the most broken, unbalanced, literally unstoppable being to ever exist, shows up and stops that shit before it even starts. Green Lantern shows up and remarks there's been a 400% crime spike in the area, and this is about all he'll be doing. And the crime spike is all the fault of that chicken restaurant right over there, which makes for a very funny panel if I just change the text on screen here. The Colonel shows up having presumably actually marched his angry ass all the way to the restaurant despite me joking about that fact. The Flash warns him that it may be dangerous to go inside, but the Colonel taps into the Speed Force to tell the Flash that there's nothing more important to the Duke of Drumsticks than kicking ass. So in a moment that continues to endear these comics to me, Anti-Colonel reveals that his plan was, well, this was his entire plan. Start up a shitty fried chicken joint as an excuse to hire henchmen, then use those henchmen to do the cliche but effective bullshit of robbing banks, and then use that money to open even more shitty fried chicken franchises. I love this. I really do. I really do love this, and maybe it's because I myself am a superhero with superpowers, because I can enjoy things even when they're advertisements. Culture at large on the internet has a fervent hatred for things tied to corporations. And to preface this next little rant, I agree with and do not blame them for it. But at the same time, there's a sort of entertainment value you can only get from things that sit in the space of obvious secondary agenda alongside creating a piece of art. And no, I don't mean art sarcastically. These books are art, whether or not you agree with that assessment. I'm going to drop a bit of a bombshell on everyone that's going to instantly destroy my content creator credibility until the end of time. I love commercials. I'm dead serious. I love them. There's no hidden joke here. I like watching commercials and ads. When I was in college thousands of years ago, I majored in computer science because I wanted job security, and this was back when it was a slam dunk idea in a market desperate to fill bodies into empty seats. My deepest condolences to those of you out there following in my footsteps today, as AI and outsourcing are fucking you raw in the ass. But I minored in digital video, specifically because I wanted to learn how to make movies and whatnot, and whether it was to become a YouTuber or follow my childhood dream of being a Hollywood film director, which... maybe one day I'll get the chance and make my magnum opus of Chernobyl 2, This Time Godzilla Shows Up. I had a professor in my freshman class who gave us our first assignment, which was to make a commercial for a fake product. And he said something that forever altered how I consume ads, and in fact, all sponsored content in general. A commercial is just a short film that must effectively convey a point to the audience. Boom! I like commercials now, because with that statement in mind, you can now really pick apart what makes effective, memorable, and well-produced ones against the mindless noise of brands that don't even remotely try. Don't lie and act like there aren't commercials out there you don't love. My personal favorites will forever be the Terry Crews Old Spice ones, especially for the delicious YouTube poop music video fodder they've provided. But to use my own example against me, despite how weird and offbeat those were for the time and the fact that some of them have Tim and Eric directing them, two of the best intentionally weird media creators out there, they are advertisements. They exist purely to sell me deodorant. But here's my point. Would they exist at all without that deodorant to sell me footing the bill? Would Tim and Eric have made a series of bizarre short films starring a ripped as fuck Terry Crews if Old Spice didn't pay them to? Probably not. Or at the very least, if they did, the production value and output count wouldn't have been up to the same standard, because we live in a capitalist world, and as much as we all hate to admit it, money is the only thing that matters in any capacity. Oh, and this concept isn't even remotely new. The Sistine Chapel and the Last Supper, two of the most famous paintings on the planet, were both paid commissions done for money so the church could use them as advertisements for the strength of their religion. Try to convince anyone alive in the last 500 years that those aren't incredible and important works of art, and I'll fetch you a new crayon set for your coloring books. I mean, hell, this video is sponsored, isn't it? If I'm doing my job right, you'll never know which videos of mine were done purely for the love of the game and which ones seemed like a fun idea that I could slap a brand name on for some cash. I do want to clarify, I absolutely love what I do, and I don't ever release a project I'm not personally happy with. But I'm not indie, kids. I am the industry, and so is every single other large creator you watch. That's just how it is if you want high quality delivered on a regular schedule. Do you think Amazon went out and poorly animated 4 seasons of Invincible out of a passion for the property? Or the more likely story, that they did it because another show based on evil Superman story from a popular comic book was an absolutely easy profit win at the time, thanks to the success of The Boys. You gotta play by the rules of the game if you want to join the big leagues, and a lot of projects I'm working on are expensive, especially since I prefer to pay real artists to help me instead of relying on soulless AI nonsense or shortcuts. But take it from someone who has met more large channels and creators behind the scenes than you would ever have time to watch. If you tune in to a specific creator because you think they're a good, relatable, genuine person, then you're a complete fucking moron. Money talks everywhere, and always will. And to get back to all of us laughing at free fuck-around stories given away to subtly remind Justice League adult juveniles to buy authentic Southern fried food, let me recap my main point. I love this. And I love that it exists, and it wouldn't exist without a mega corporation trying to sell me something. And part of the fact that that's the underlying subliminal tones I pick up this entire time only adds to my enjoyment of it, pun intended, because it's good art in spite of its shortcomings, and even bolstered by it because I get to say, this scummy brand move really turned mistakes into miracles. And I mean, really. Why would I ever get mad at any of this? All I have to do to never make this a problem in any capacity is to not buy things because ads told me to buy them. I mean, avoiding impulse purchases and not spending money on things I don't need is a stupidly simple task for myself, just like it is for any modern adult. Right? Colonel Sanders shows up screaming that he demands satisfaction, which means his hollering ass was able to push past however many security guards without getting himself shot. Anti-Colonel fires back that he's going to struggle to find any level of satisfaction here because his food sucks. Maybe we should start calling him the Colonel of Truth instead of the Anti-Colonel. You like what I did there? The next panel tries very, very hard to convince us that Colonel Sanders worked in a franchise KFC restaurant at any point in his life, and that he would be doing all the chicken cooking steps himself instead of being a cog in a human factory assembly assembly line.
At my restaurants, we freshly prepare our chicken, and my secret blend of 11 herbs and spices beats anything you're using. My chicken's hand-breaded and pressure-fried. Sure, there's easier ways, but none better. But I could see this is all going over your head. So here's something you'll understand.
Colonel Sanders just punched his evil doppelganger in the face because he is physically incapable of understanding how to cook quality fried chicken. I think anyone who doesn't like this comic doesn't have a soul. Put that panel in the Hall of Fame because there's something about it that just delights on a spiritual level. This punch activates the auto defenses, which shoot the Colonel with frozen chicken nuggets. The Colonel tells Flash to focus on rescuing civilians while he uses his previously unannounced super strength to overpower the auto turret. And so the anti-Colonel fires back with his pink slime ray, which is so goddamn funny that it sounds like an unedited line from one of my How It's Made parodies. I'm honestly convinced I've probably said that at one point. For the uninitiated, pink slime is, for lack of a better term, a food meme used to disparage various restaurants and food products. It is a real product, but its official name is lean, finely textured beef, and it's a way factories reuse undesirable cuts of meat by processing the fat out of them and then using the resulting paste as an additive to existing meat to help it hit specific meat to fat ratios. It's not the most amazing thing, but hey, hot dogs are delicious, safe to eat, and I won't hear a single goddamn argument against them. Pink slime ends up circulating the internet from time to time as a way to dunk on fast food quality ever since 2012 when ABC News did an expose on the pink slime epidemic by mentioning about 70% of market ground beef at the time contained the product. Ever since then, pink slime regularly resurges on social media as a trending super scary hidden ingredient in your food. The pink slime in question doesn't even have to be the same ingredient every time. Sometimes it's referring to mechanically separated chicken, which is basically the same thing as the beef product I mentioned earlier, except with chicken, obviously. But it's become a staple of people trying to shit on food products, especially fast food products, and especially McDonald's, who have been the target of a pink slime scare not once, but twice for both their ground beef and their chicken McNuggets, to the point where there are 2 separate web pages on their official website saying, no guys, we don't use pink slime, seriously, just trust us. I was a bit surprised to find that research here is actually extremely convoluted. McDonald's actually did used to use mechanically separated chicken in the past, but has since switched to 100% chicken breast meat. The dates for when this happened are entirely up in the air because articles report different years all over the place. But here's yet another McDonald's webpage confirming they no longer use the machine stuff. Which really begs the question, why you got so many articles dispelling so many rumors, McDonald's? Can't you just let the food speak for itself? Or better yet, make a free comic book about Ronald McDonald fighting his evil doppelganger Donald McRonald, who sets up a burger restaurant that serves the tastiest, highest quality food known to man. The Colonel gets all gooped in the slime and reveals he was wearing a second perfect suit under his current one the entire time, which is funny. And he continues to kick ass so hard that all the faceless goons bail because they're terrified, while Cum Master and Captain Cold realize they had zero relevance in any part of this scheme, so they just kind of fuck off.
You people are crazy! I'm going back to Earth 3 where things make sense! That's right, you cuss. Better tuck and run. I'm Colonel Sanders, and I'll end your thieving as you make it easy to kick your teeth in.
Did he have that jingle prepared for whenever he has to kick someone's ass? And it specifically talks about ending someone's thieving, so did he whip up that parody because he knew for sure he would whip the ever-loving fuck out of his parallel universe clone? That's so badass. Probably because Colonel Sanders shot someone in real life with no remorse whatsoever. What? Don't give me that look. It's directly outlined in the first comic that I told you about earlier. Long story short, Harlan Sanders ran a gas station shortly after the Great Depression. He put up a sign advertising said station, and a competitor painted over it so no one could see it. When Sanders and an employee went out to fix the sign, the competitor shot at them, killing the kid who was probably making more money than most entry-level positions would today if adjusted for inflation, because somehow our economy feels more fucked than it was during the Great Depression. Sanders immediately immediately fired back, wounding the man in the shoulder and probably singing a little jingle about it at the time by saying something like, "You thought you could paint over my station sign, but with this revolver, your life is now mine." So the day has been saved, and what unholy punishment do Mirror Master and Captain Cold have to face for their plot that involved countless acts of armed robbery and terrorism? They're forced to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. A fate worse than death. At least Mirror Master knows how to avoid his punishment proper and slurps down a pre-prepared third-party soda pop instead of even looking at any part of the chicken placed before him. Then the Flash steps in and is like, "Oh hey, by the way, I don't know if everyone forgot, but these fuckers have to go to jail now." But in a fun little feel-good ending, the Colonel instead hires them to work at KFC, using their nearly godlike potential as super powerful beings to make drinks cold and wash windows. Alright, whatever. The Green Lantern literally did absolutely nothing in this comic whatsoever, and I think that makes it even funnier. The back of the comic has a breakdown of Colonel's fit, full of joke items such as an $85,000 fountain pen filled with gravy, X-ray glasses to identify hungry people, a cane that can turn deep fryers on somehow, and a freshly prepared chicken he's got in a greasy KFC bucket that, according to this comic book, he carries with him everywhere he goes. He really is a man of the people of Kentucky since he cosplays everywhere he goes as the average Kentucky citizen with this getup. But this comic also tries to align this ornery old eccentric with the actual superheroes on display by mentioning that his secret blend of 11 herbs and spices is his true secret to his powers. You know, the 11 herbs and spices: salt, thyme, basil, oregano, celery salt, black pepper, dried mustard, paprika, garlic salt, ground ginger, and white pepper. 'Cause that's the secret 11 herbs and spices. That's all of them, as leaked by the Colonel's nephew in 2016. And even if this isn't the exact list used today, internet detectives will suss that shit out as soon as humanly possible. Mark my words. The good and the bad thing about the modern internet is there are no secrets left anymore on this planet. While the childhood imagination and fun of Mew being under the truck will forever be disproven, at least you can Google just literally any fast food item known to man and find a 99% accurate recipe for it. We've traded mystery for convenience and... you know, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I may need to get my infinity pocket square out to dab this nostalgic terror sweat off of my forehead. Now it's time to meet the Colonel Corps in issue 2 of the Fried Chicken Trilogy. Isn't English the dumbest fucking language on the planet? This shit isn't pronounced Colonel Corpse. It's Colonel Corps, which can also be written like this. And that's still spelled perfectly with no grammatical issues. Except that E on the end is silent, and if we remove it, well shit, it's the core issue again. Dumb as fuck language. If you want more of this, I did a whole video on how none of it makes sense. I'll put it in the description. Anyway, on the cover, there's some pretty fucked up assumptions we can make about these alternate dimension ad men. There's the dimension where Harlan Sanders became a multimillionaire explicitly through mass cannibalism. The dimension where I'm not sure if Sanders is supposed to be a woman or a young hot femboy, but I still want to fuck him anyway. The two dimensions where Sanders selling Kentucky Fried Chicken makes absolutely no sense. And the dimension where no one on the art team considered how close to a slave owner this getup is making him look. And thinking about it a little bit, you can argue that the default Colonel Sanders look already pushes that boundary on its own, so this guy definitely makes sure that his chicken is whip-cracking good. And I'm delighted to see that instantly from the first page we have the return of the evil Colonel clone, now chilling in the evil dimension of Earth 3. Anti-Colonel complains that the fact the real Harlan Sanders exists just flat out pisses him off, and so he's called in some help to take that guy down. This expression at the end of the page exemplifies that the art in these books is really just straight up fucking good. Think what you want about the nonsense piles they are, but the visual spectacle here is objectively fashionable. Now it's back to Earth Prime, where Colonel Sanders is recounting his battle against Colonel Sunder, telling a Daily Planet reporter that he's personally overseeing the re-strengthening of his brand, and I can't believe I have to do this soon, but I think I have to add a second panel from this comic run to the Hall of Fame because... take a look for yourself at what comes next.
Well, you can tell your readers I'm back to make things right. I'm retraining all my cooks, improving customer service, and making dang sure every bucket is Colonel quality guaranteed. Oh, it's a way of life. I'm calling it the re-Colonelization of Earth.
There's so much depth here. There are so many layers upon layers. You no longer need Mark Twain or Walt Whitman for your American literature dissections when you have the Colonel Corps at your disposal. Because Colonel Hardman Mother Cluckin' Sanders is here to re-kernelize the Earth. And many of you out there are laughing already with me. The Colonel desecrating the American flag to proclaim he's sweeping the globe to remold it in his own image for the sole purpose of helping sell more fried chicken buckets is hysterical. But some of you are intellectuals right along there with me and are laughing twice as hard at this, because what does the word rekernelization remind you of? Personally, I misread this panel the first time to say recolonization of Earth, which to me read it as Colonel Sanders is going to take his white southern gentleman entrepreneur ass and force the people of Earth under his subjugation to create a fried chicken trade empire. Are we sure this is Earth Prime and not plantation owner Sanders like we saw on the cover earlier? And hey, it turns out that rekernelizing KFC was an actual marketing stunt done in the mid-2010s by the company as a way to dig up the Colonel's corpse for one last profitable joyride. How no one thought that name could be misconstrued as something terrible is beyond me. Anti-Colonel laughs an evil laugh, and the sound of which causes Colonel Sanders to pass out. When he awakens, he's hot as fuck. Just kidding. This is actually Colonel Arla Sanders of Earth 11. And Harlan Sanders was always hot. He didn't need no coma to get a glow up. Something strange is going on because Harlan is asked if he can remember his secret formula. And it turns out he can only remember the second ingredient of his 11 herbs and spices, while Mommy Milker's Colonel can only remember the first. And it's all the work of Colonel Sanders, that finger-licking fuck. I don't even need to write jokes here. This shit is 10,000% self-aware of how dumb it is, and I am absolutely all for it. The only plan then is to gather all the other alternate universe colonels, who thankfully always befriend the Flash in every reality because based off of their brands, they're both fans of the runs. So it's time to use the interdimensional treadmill to start rekernelizing the multiverse, a phrase I still cringe a bit at when I say it out loud. First, it's off to Steampunk Earth, where we meet Hard Case Harlan, a detective for Gotham Police Department whose modus operandi is to beat criminals into false confessions using a baton fashioned like a drumstick. There is a non-zero chance this guy is this universe's Batman, and I want to imagine a world where box office records were set by a movie called The Dark Colonel Rises. Now we get a little montage of other universe hopping that amounts to another handful of pages of paper-thin excuses to reference other DC comic storylines and throw out a new version of the Colonel in them. We get Kingdom Come Colonel Sanders, which was a large DC self-referential civil war between classic Golden Age superheroes and new modern edgy ones. Post-apocalypse Colonel Sanders, who I suppose now has an excuse for the fact that he's serving dissected and eviscerated pieces of his own species. Techno-future Colonel Sanders, who's just kind of standing there all techno-future-y and shit. Bizarro Colonel Sanders, who just fucking sucks. And Teen Titans Go Colonel Sanders, who fucking sucks even harder. More colonels join the group as they all hold hands, dimension hop yet again, and breathe a sigh of relief that what appeared to be slave owner Colonel Sanders on the front cover was actually just Cowboy Sanders. Oh, but I'm watching you, you gun-slinging, gut-destroying, grease-glamorizing gay boy. I don't know if Colonel Sanders was actually gay. I highly doubt he was, but I needed a way to wrap up that alliteration, and now I'm a little in too deep. There's nothing wrong with being gay, obviously, but I just felt it was a great wrap up to the end of that sentence. Words don't actually mean anything at all. We just assign them meanings based on definitions and then wrap them with culture and time. Hell, gay, the word, is a great example, because when was the last time you ever heard someone unironically use it to mean happy instead of homosexual? You see, I'm such a creative genius that now this obvious cope tangent is tying back to me talking about how silly the English language is like earlier. I should really just stop fucking talking now. Meanwhile, back on shitty Earth, Colonel Sunder just can't get his chicken to taste good, despite having the full secret recipe. If he really was evil, he'd just publish it for literally anyone to have. But it seems that only the Colonel's nephew, long after his death, is capable of such a dastardly deed. Colonel Grodd shows up as the catalyst behind the entire plot and is a reference to psychic supervillain Gorilla Grodd. But this comic is this comic, meaning a psychic gorilla showing up as the true mastermind means borderline nothing to me, especially since the next page is this. I hate how much I'm praising this comic. I truly do. I'm writing this part of the script after a literal 2-week straight writing binge, and I am desperately trying to come up with more creative ways to explain I don't even like KFC, nor have any ties to them. But I love this comic's nonsense. There's just so much to comment on. Russian Sanders looking like he doesn't give a shit about any of this. Hardcase Harlan looking like he's about to summon his stand Buckethead with its ability Enter the Chicken. Female alternate universe Flash is somehow mid-super speed and unmoving model pose at the same time. And I'm just now realizing I am without a doubt the one human on this entire earth who has spent the most time focusing on these advertisement comics. Probably even more than the people who created them. Oh well, I have no regrets. My penis size and bank account are in a never-ending hugeness contest, so I feel like I can waste the rest of my life in peace. The gorilla pulls a Harambe as he's taken down by a bunch of franchised employees. But to fight back, he floods the minds of the Colonels with their worst fears. It turns out Colonel Sanders Prime's worst fear is becoming an average citizen of Kentucky, living as a fat slob who accomplishes nothing. To say I've lost count of every shot I've taken at Kentucky with this video would be an understatement, but I'm confident they're still funny. And if the citizens of Kentucky have an issue with me, they can get their mayor to drive the state's only automobile to my front door so I can explain to him that the earth revolves around the sun and not the other way around. The mindfuck trickery is no match for the iron will of the Sanders Creed to do things the hard way. As we get an amazing panel that could be dropped into God knows how many animes without seeming out of place in the slightest. Sanders Prime rallies the Colonel Corps with his speech that each and every one of them is bound together by their love of quality.
No! You can't beat hard work with lies and tricks! Mine is a will that can't be broken! Colonel Corpse, on your feet! These two nitwits can never understand what we share in common, our uncompromising commitment to quality, our rock-solid belief that the hard way is the only way. These moral anchors made us successful in every universe except this one. High time we fix that!
And I just now realized that if Bizarro Sanders is supposed to be the opposite of him, shouldn't he be making shitty, cheap chicken to unhappy customers? Jokes aside about the real-world KFC quality, strike 1 for this book, I guess, which is impressive considering we'd be at strike 20 by now for most others. With their newfound strength over cooking decent artery-clogging food, the Kryptonian Colonel easily overpowers Colonel Grodd, while we get a repeat of the amazing panel from the first issue of Sunder getting punched by Sanders. Except when Sunder gets hit, he says Erngul with an asterisk, which typically means there's a footnote somewhere in the book to provide explanation. I found no such footnote, meaning the hidden lore behind Erngul will forever be a mystery. If you want me to pull engagement bait tactics, you can leave comments saying what you think Erngul means. Or just leave comments because it helps my videos. Or just do whatever you want. You have free will, and you're using it to watch me talk about fast food chicken comics. You are obviously smarter than I am. Buckethead makes an actual cameo appearance as the Corps celebrate an ass-kicking well done. Or should I say, an ass-kicking extra crispy. And they all give a rousing fist pump at the end, despite the fact that half of them did absolutely nothing. A running theme in these books I hope is continued in the final entry. There's also this last little shout out included to the El Paso, Texas KFC crew, and if any of you out there watching were featured in this, please for the love of God reach out to me and let me know how it feels that I'm getting more attention for this comic book than you ever will. Speaking of getting attention, I just got a voice memo. Hang on, let me give it a listen.
As famous Hollywood actor Morgan Freeman, I have been alive long enough to see countless stars and galaxies rise and fall in complete indifference to mankind's existence. Very few things during my timeless presence as a part of this universe have moved me on a level that one could consider truly godlike. Hugby's Gamer Mode is one of those things. I am hereby officially commanding you all to watch Hugby's second channel, Hugby's Gamer Mode, from now until eternity, so that Hugby's himself may one day achieve complete and perfect enlightenment. Nirvana only allows in those who have 2 golden YouTube play buttons after all. Hugby's Gamer Mode, linked in the description. Hours of entertainment, and personally approved by me, a real Morgan Freeman impersonator, who I actually am. That's right, I am the real Morgan Freeman impersonator. Legally, I can't say I am the real Morgan Freeman, but I can absolutely say I am undeniably Morgan Freeman's voice double. I may even be Morgan Freeman pretending to be an impersonator of himself. Who knows? I do. That was a lie. I'm sorry. sorry, I just wanted to be special. I'll see myself out now.
The final chapter of the Colonel's Capers is coming to a close as we reach KFC Across the Universe. Titled on the cover as Green Lantern co-starring Colonel Sanders. Perhaps the Green Lantern will actually do something of value this time, such as destroy everything Harlan Sanders secretly hated like he's doing here on the cover. This cover is actually a reference to Green Lantern number 76, which I learned from combing the DC Comics wiki about these issues. I did recognize the cover, but I've never read the comic specifically because it's Green Lantern, who cares? The wiki's got everything though. Here's the page on Harlan Sanders. Turns out aside from his strength in business management and cooking, he's got indomitable will, just like the Green Lantern. So maybe this crossover should have happened decades ago, while Colonel Sanders was still alive, because in real life that pussy's willpower was so shitty that he died. What a fucking moron. We open on a spaceship crash landing onto Earth. The ship is named the Zinger 1, undoubtedly named after the KFC chicken sandwich that was imported to the US in 2017. I say imported because it's actually a pretty interesting fun fact. The Zinger was invented in Trinidad and Tobago all the way back in 1984. KFC brought it over to America to compete in the fried chicken sandwich wars that, let's be honest, Chick-fil-A is absolutely dominating and was never in any danger of losing. But even more interestingly, did you know that this comic is based off a true story? In 2017, KFC actually launched a chicken sandwich into space. What do you want me to say? They did it as a promotional stunt, and to commemorate the event, they shaped an actual meteorite into one of the chicken sandwiches, and it sold at auction for $20,000 to a fan who was reportedly a vegan but just liked KFC, and I'm kind of pissed. I wasn't internet famous by that time, and there is a really good chance that if I was, I would have bought it myself as a prominent footnote to this video. The Colonel races out to the crash site to rescue the contents of the ship, and in yet another amazing panel, we're shown that the ship was carrying a KFC Zinger sandwich the entire time. Colonel declares that he aims to make the Zinger a universally famous sandwich, one of which he's just letting some random guy eat the prototype of in the parking lot. Hal Jordan, who is Green Lantern if you're a big dum-dum, asks Sanders what he means by a universally famous sandwich, and Harlan tells him his globe-saving superpowers are going to be just the perfect thing to help him get a few more people to eat his $8 sandwich. The plan's pretty simple. The Colonel was profoundly inspired by his previous multiverse adventures, and now he needs to spread the glory of KFC to all the hungry people in all those other dimensions. Hal Jordan should immediately say, okay, cool, good luck with that, I'm a real superhero that has to like save lives and shit, bye, but no. Instead, he wrangles up every Green Lantern he knows to fire fried chicken sandwiches into a series of indiscriminate wormholes for no reason. These comics own so hard. The Green Lanterns across the multiverse receive the deliveries, but each one of them remarks that the chicken sandwich capsules are empty. Oh no! And we get this great line.
Some cosmic varmint must have waylaid my zingers,
which I'm going to be screaming anytime I'm hit with any minor inconvenience for the rest of this week. Turns out some dipshit living in a cave with a power ring of his own is stealing all the sandwiches mid-flight. The Colonel's ready to do what he always does and march straight up to the thief and punch him in the jaw while calling him some long deprecated slurs in song form. But Green Lantern instead splits his power into a second ring for the Colonel to use, since he's a mighty warrior of indomitable will. Harlan's reaction to this is what all of us are thinking. Are you fucking serious? But he is serious. And so the Colonel takes it a step further to remind us of the tone of these books and forms his ring into a KFC bucket. Wearing a ring shaped like a fried chicken bucket adorned with your own face is something I wish I had the balls to do, I can't even lie. The Colonel and Green Lantern begin their search at the edge of the universe, known as the Source Wall. I want to remind you, Colonel Sanders is flying using a ring powered by his own temper to piss in the eye of his competitors, taking insights no other mere mortals would ever be allowed to see, and his immediate thoughts are, oh yeah, I can put my face all over this thing. They meet Adam Strange, who tells them his world has experienced a burst of red light energy. They then meet Hawkwoman, who says the people who stole their sandwiches were orange and look similar to the Green Lanterns. Green Lantern now knows that they're about to fight an Orange Lantern, which is dangerous because it means they're about to fight a force of pure greed. They're about to fight Larfleeze. Larfleeze is actually a really cool character. Being an Orange Lantern, he represents the emotion of avarice, and he's so fucking greedy and selfish that he refuses to recruit a single other Lantern into his corps. Instead, he kills potential candidates and uses their power for himself. That's pretty cool. Come on, don't tell me all this knowledge that made my parents disappointed in me for years on end ended up being for nothing. The Colonel, really showing his ruthless business side in this issue, has calculated the exact price of each of the sandwiches Larfleeze stole and aims to collect. In response to this reasonable request, Larfleeze screams for more chicken sandwiches in his food cave and uses his ghostly powers to kill for more. I'm not redoing that. Again, these books really show off the life of the average resident of Kentucky. Colonel Sanders then whips out his signature move of punching his opponent in the jaw with some southern slurs attached, while the heroes are quickly swarmed by the ghostly phantoms. Green Lantern tells Harlan that now's the time to defend himself using the power of the ring. And of course, the best thing Harlan can come up with is giant eating utensils and chicken legs. Larfleeze has had enough of this shit and goes for the throat, but the fact the Colonel perpetually smells like a deep fryer gives him pause. Green Lantern, thinking quickly, screams out how if Harlan dies, then the Zinger dies with him, because Kentucky Fried Chicken absolutely positively cannot in any way operate with a long-dead Colonel Sanders. This is like the second or third joke of me staring at the camera I've done. We're having a wacky fucking night tonight, aren't we? Okay, so for the rest of the video, I call Larfleeze Zarfleeze because I confused his name with the Zingers, and I'm not redubbing this, so whatever. Zarfleeze then commands the Colonel to stay with him making chicken sandwiches forever because he loves them so much, which causes the Colonel to get the absolutely most devilish, shit-eating grin as he tells Zarfleeze the process for him to get as many Zingers as he can handle. Colonel Sanders then manifests an entire KFC restaurant on Zarfleeze's home world that he can staff with his Orange Lantern ghosts. The only condition is that, I almost knocked my light over, is that Zarfleeze cooks the sandwiches up to the Colonel's oh my god, I did knock my light over. The only condition is that Zarfleeze cooks the sandwiches up to the Colonel's standards, and for some reason the Servitude Ghost stuck working for Zarfleeze in an afterlife see being forced to work at a fast food joint for all eternity as a more desirable outcome than being slaves to an Orange Lantern. I'm not touching any of this shit, man. I can't do this no more. Harlan is pronounced an honorary Green Lantern for his deeds, and the rest of the universe finally gets their fast food. And Colonel Sanders, still secretly overcome by the Orange Lantern ring himself this issue, asks if he can become the official food sponsor for the entire Green Lantern Corps. The end. There's an advertisement at the end of this book for the KFC VR experience, which is real and looks weird as fuck, and I just really think I gotta go on a KFC-themed follow-up video at some point, because man, did they do a bunch of weird advertising shit in the 2010s. But that's a tale for another universe, because in this current one, I am done talking about fried chicken connoisseurs for a good while. What else do I even need to say by this point? I don't have anything to add that I didn't already. These comics rule, and I'm happy they exist, for both equal actual comedy quality and paper-thin advertising trying to showcase itself as actual comic book lore. I giggled and had a good time. For free things given away at a convention, I'd have definitely gotten my money's worth if I happened to be in the crowd that day. But what about you? Go ahead and shout out your thoughts about these stories now! Louder! I can't hear you! No, I really can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh my god, I can't hear you. Oh, I've gone deaf? Oh god.
Absolutely hilarious video chat. But that's probably gonna wrap up the stream because I'm fucking tired, and it is what it is. So hey, the world is yours. Do what you want. Be you. Later, guys.